Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Curious Kingdom. Today we are recapping action thriller movie The Equaliser. The movie starts with Robert residing alone in an apartment. Upon waking up, he prepares for work. Robert is known for his impeccable organizational skills and enjoys a positive rapport with his colleagues at the home furnishing store. During his leisure time, he encounters Ralphie, who seeks his assistance in losing weight for a security guard exam scheduled in a week. After completing his work in the evening, Robert returns home, feeling lonely and engrossed in a book, seeking a change of scenery. He visits a nearby restaurant close to his apartment, intending to continue reading. Prior to delving into the book, a woman engages him in conversation, inquiring about the outcome of the man's fishing efforts in the story Robert is reading. In response, Robert explains that the man had barely cast his bait. The woman shares her recent purchase of a device for composing music, and Robert expresses his belief in her talent. She then departs but insists that he disclose the fate of the fish in the book. The following day, Robert encounters the woman again, and she inquires about the fish's outcome. Robert informs her that the man caught it, but a shark devoured the fish. Suddenly, a car arrives at the restaurant, and the woman receives a call from someone named Slavi, urging her to leave the establishment and join them. Despite her pleas to remain, it becomes evident that Slavi, a pimp, controls her actions, and she exits the restaurant in tears, getting into the awaiting car with the man. Throughout these events, Robert has been observing everything that transpired from the beginning. On the subsequent day, he assists Ralphie with his weight loss goals. When Robert returns to the restaurant, he finds the woman sleeping and decides to serve her food, as he usually does. However, this time, she joins him at his table. Robert becomes aware of visible signs of abuse on Alina's face. Upon inquiring, Alina reveals that the man who accompanied her in the car was responsible for assaulting her. She entrusts Robert with a CD containing songs sung by her. Robert encourages her to pursue work aligned with her desires rather than being forced into something she dislikes. Alina expresses the challenges involved but then inquires about Robert's wife. Learning that Robert is a widower, she discovers his aspiration to read 100 books, a tribute to his late spouse's habits. As Robert and Alina engage in an all-night conversation while strolling, a car arrives, and Slavi emerges, the individual who struck Alina. He forces her into the vehicle, and Alina pleads with Robert not to intervene. Slavi hands Robert his personal card, offering a superior alternative if he desires another girl. The next day, when Robert visits the restaurant, Alina is nowhere to be found, indicating she has likely been hospitalized due to the assault. Alina's friend discloses that Slavi was responsible for her injuries. Determined, Robert confronts Slavi with $9,800, proposing it as a sum in exchange for releasing Alina. However, Slavi callously rejects the offer, ridiculing Robert. Seizing the money, Robert locks the room from inside and sets a timer for 16 seconds. In next 16 seconds, he eliminates all 5 gang members and shoots Slavi in the neck, in a true Baba Yaga style. Before his death, Slavi warns Robert that he may come to regret his decision. The following day, Ralphie arrives at Robert's workplace, presenting him with a box of chips containing a note that reveals Ralphie has achieved the required weight for his security guard test. News spreads about Slavi and his gang's murder. A mysterious man named Teddy, employed by Pushkin, disembarks from a plane and heads to the accident site, anticipating events from the day of the incident. Teddy's involvement hints at his connection to Pushkin, the leader of Slavi's gang. The gang had corrupt police associates, including a person named Frank. Teddy commands Frank to fulfill his requests and provide information on the slaying of Slavi and his gang. The subsequent day at work, Robert learns that Ralphie quit without explanation, jeopardizing his chances at the security guard position. Robert discovers that Ralphie left to assist his mother in her burned-down restaurant, allegedly due to an electrical fault. However, Robert suspects foul play rather than a mere accident. Ralphie pleads for Robert's help in cleaning up the aftermath, and Robert notices 2 corrupt policemen blackmailing Ralphie's mother for money, the very individuals responsible for setting the place on fire due to her delayed payments. After the 2 policemen left, Robert confronted them and demanded that they return the money. He had captured the incident on his phone's camera. They tried to seize his phone since he had recorded them, but Robert fought back and warned them that unless they returned the money to Ralphie's mother, he would expose the video. Meanwhile, Teddy took Frank along to meet with other gangs to investigate who was behind Slavi's murder. Among these gangs was John, the Irishman. Despite knowing John's innocence, Teddy killed him and his gang to send a message to the other gangs about maintaining control. Teddy spoke with Alina's friend, who had been in the hospital with her, inquiring about Alina's whereabouts. However, she lied, claiming ignorance. Pushkin contacted Teddy, seeking information on Slavi's murderer. Teddy assured him that none of the allied gangs were responsible and that he would soon discover the identity of the professional behind the act. Teddy interrogated Alina, suspecting her deception. He accused her of being Alina's closest confidante and demanded information. She eventually confessed, providing a description of a man who had visited her. Teddy then killed Alina's friend. The corrupt cops returned the money to Ralphie's mother, and Ralphie successfully secured a job as a security guard with Robert's assistance after passing the test. Teddy managed to gather information about Robert's appearance and his presence at the casino where Slavy was killed, although they did not witness him leaving. The following day, a man threatened Robert's coworker with a gun, demanding money. Robert handed over the money, and the thief also demanded the girl's ring. Due to the presence of children, Robert couldn't retaliate but instructed the girl to give the ring to the thief. Once the robber left, Robert tracked him and noted the license plate number of his car. The next day, the girl found her ring at her workplace, unaware that Robert was the one who had killed the thief and returned the ring to her. Teddy managed to gain access to Robert's apartment, and when Robert opened the door, he discovered Teddy, who claimed to be investigating the murder of 5 Russians. Teddy questioned Robert about his knowledge of the incident, but Robert insisted that he had been present at the scene for a dinner date with his girlfriend. Teddy showed Robert a photo of Alina's murdered friend, asking if he knew her. Robert admitted recognizing her. Teddy intended to convey a message to Robert that he was the one who killed her and knew details through her. Robert realized Teddy was not a real cop as he refused to provide any identification. Suspicious of Robert's involvement in Slavy's murder, Teddy ordered his men to monitor him and gather information. Unbeknownst to Teddy, Robert had surveillance cameras throughout his house. Teddy then instructed his men to go to Robert's house, apprehend him, and interrogate him to uncover his affiliations. Teddy sent someone dressed as a restaurant worker to approach Robert. However, Robert detected the person's true intentions based on his hands not appearing like those of a worker. The individual attempted to threaten Robert, but Robert successfully killed him before leaving the restaurant. After disabling the power, Robert spots Teddy and Frank in a car outside the restaurant. He quickly captures a photo of them with his phone. Teddy starts pursuing Robert, but Robert manages to escape by striking a man who works for Teddy, discovering that the man is a policeman. Robert seizes the policeman's badge and phone. Returning home, he realizes he was shot in the foot by the worker-disguised person at the restaurant. Teddy's gang arrives at Robert's apartment but fails to find him, unaware that he is monitoring them through his installed cameras. Teddy informs the corrupt police working with him to locate Robert, threatening to involve others if necessary. Seeking assistance, Robert turns to his friend Susan, who holds a prominent position in the state. He shows her the picture of Teddy and requests information about him. Susan agrees to help and also provides details about Pushkin, a high-ranking figure in the Russian mafia with strong political connections. She warns Robert of Teddy's intelligence and notorious reputation. Susan gathers information about the corrupt cops associated with Teddy, including Frank, who quit his job due to recent events. Susan informs her husband that Robert seeks permission to confront the Russian mafia, not for assistance. Robert locates Frank and interrogates him to extract information about Pushkin. Frank discloses a location where Pushkin's illegal funds are stored. Posing as one of Pushkin's men, Robert infiltrates the place, disarms a gang member, and takes control of the situation. After distributing the money found at the location, Robert instructs Frank to call the police and report the incident. The police arrive, arresting Frank and seizing the illicit funds, along with the apprehended gang members. Meanwhile, Teddy remains at the restaurant conversing with an individual who pledges to find Robert. The person heads to the bathroom, and Robert seizes the opportunity to confront Teddy directly. Robert reveals that a Russian man had 5 children and adopted an orphan child who ultimately murdered him and his wife. The crime remained unsolved, with suspicions falling on the adopted child. Driven by fear of abandonment, Robert subtly implies that he is the one who committed the act. Robert insists that Teddy contacts Pushkin to abort the mission, but Teddy refuses, asserting his lack of emotions and weakness. Robert departs, leaving his contact information should Nikolai choose to cancel the mission. Continuing his mission, Robert exposes Pushkin's operations and gathers evidence on a USB drive obtained from Frank. Learning the location of Pushkin's oil container, Robert destroys it, causing significant damage. Pushkin contacts Nikolai, urging him to act swiftly. Nikolai forms a new team and plans to eliminate Robert. Nikolai targets the place where Robert works, taking Robert's colleagues hostage to bait him. Ralphie is coerced into contacting Robert to ensure they fall into the trap. Robert heads to the location, and Nikolai orders his men to kill Robert if they spot him. Robert stealthily infiltrates the location without Nikolai's men noticing. Playing music to draw attention, the gang begins searching for him. Using this distraction to his advantage, Robert surprises them, eliminating them one by one. With only Nikolai remaining, he threatens Ralphie's life, but Robert swiftly intervenes, saving Ralphie and taking down Nikolai. 3 days later, in a heavily guarded Russian palace, Robert confronts Pushkin. During their conversation, Robert hides, setting up a trap with an open water tap and electrified wires. As Pushkin steps out to call the guards, he gets electrocuted and dies. Robert eliminates all the palace guards before leaving the scene. After this final act of vengeance, Robert returns to his ordinary life. He reconnects with Alina, who has fully recovered from her hospitalization. Alina reveals that she has taken up reading books and found new employment, leading to a better life. She mentions receiving an envelope with $9,800 and a travel ticket to a specific country. Initially thinking it was from Slavi's gang to silence her, she expresses gratitude to Robert for what he has done and plans to start anew. That's all for today, folks. Like, share, and subscribe for more such content. Curious Knight signing off. Stay safe, stay curious.